Well, have a shy child, one who doesn't want to leave your side. Parenting expert Michelle McVittie has some tips on how to handle their anxiety, because shyness isn't necessarily a bad thing. We were both shy kids growing up.
Yes.
And now look at us, we're on TV.
We're on TV, yes. But I think that's the whole point, is that if we had parents that were talking for us, we had siblings that stepped in, we didn't have opportunity to try. My mom actually put me into dance because I was very shy. She said it was because I was clumsy, but I think it was also helped me because I was very introverted and shy. But she didn't speak for me. And I think that's the piece. When parents are stressed out, when they see their child distressed, we want to protect, and then we end up rescuing, and then we end up talking for them, and then this turns into their role where they're shy. We label them as shy. We excuse the behavior, and then it takes away the opportunity for them to try it.
And grow. Right? So this is an example where maybe like, oh, you know, if a child isn't saying hello to people that they're meeting or isn't responding, you'll go, oh, well, he or she is shy.
Yes.
And then just kind of like, you know,
do it for
that's
them.
it. So
Yes,
what do you do?
and that's it. Yes, and then they just take on that role. But instead, how can they respond? They can wave, they can smile, they can acknowledge how old are you, they can show how many fingers they are. But the problem is so up to three separation anxiety is normal, up to 5 possibly, you know, but when it gets in the way of life, so I'm talking children that are older, like 5, 10, 15, that are staying home, that are really needing to be by your side, that are constantly texting you. We don't want to continue to accommodate. We don't want to continue to step in and rescue them because we say whatever you're worried about is going to come true and you don't have the skill. We don't control our children, but we can control how we respond, and accommodation is a big thing that we do when we feel our child is in distress.
Okay, so how do you kind of stop that then, if that's what you're doing? Like you don't want to go like cold turkey and
no, you don't want to cold
shove them out there.
Yeah, that's right. Just being mindful of how often you accommodate your child, how often you step in, how often you say you don't have to go, we allow them to avoid, and be aware of that. Then, depending on the age of the child, you may want to have a conversation to say, I know you can do this. You know, before I said no to this, but I'm going to say yes to this because I know you can do it. So you're giving supportive statements, you're acknowledging, and you're not just ripping off the Band-Aid like you said, but we're slowly going to say, okay, we're going to take one step forward, and then what's the next step? So you have to plan. You have to decide, what is it that we're working on? How am I accommodating? How can I give opportunity to practice? Because practice, we have to train their brain. It's not just one time they're jumping off the diving board. We want them to jump off at least 3 times to train their brain, but we have to tolerate distress in ourselves, right?
So does it help to ask, like, why don't you want to do that? Or why don't you want to talk to people? Why don't you? Does that help?
Well, the why question is shaming, actually.
Oh,
right?
okay. So not
it's
a
like,
good idea.
Why did you ask me that question, Annette? Why would you ask me that? It's like, well, I don't know. I just wanted to know.
You're shaming me, Michelle.
You're not shaming you. But sometimes they developmentally don't know. But we want to get to the thought. What is the worst thing that would happen? Help me understand, because it's the anxious thought that we want to get to, which is tough under 7, because cognitively,
because you don't know why.
No, but we want to try to understand. So I'll be embarrassed. Something bad will happen. If I leave you, you might get hurt, right? So they worry and they think about these things. There's monsters under the bed. So let's do some detective thinking or fact checking to say, where is the proof that this is true? But really getting to the thought as to what's driving the behavior, which is a little bit tricky. That's why I work with parents on that. Right?
And do you find you're working a lot more with parents now with shyness because of the pandemic? Because some kids, like, you know, were developing while we were in lockdown, while they were being schooled at home.
Well, and it's that lack of exposure, right? And I think you probably are seeing more younger children that are, I'm a little more anxious. But I think if it's not part of their temperament, because there's an anxious temperament and then there's anxiety disorders, right? So it doesn't mean the two go hand in hand all the time, but you want to give opportunity. So if the opportunity wasn't there, then it could have stunted that for sure.
Okay, we'll get all your details and your contacts up on our website at chch.com/morninglive. Michelle, always great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.